And hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to the first forum of the day. So today with me, Siti, Nuralisha, Aina with Nurhalim as a host. So today our forum topic is going to be on about the effect of social media on the language used by teenagers. So first of all, I'm going to introduce our panelists today. So the first panel is Miss Aqilah Alhusna, and she's a student who's doing her master degree in English language in University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur. Then we have Mrs. Natasha Khairina, and she's a mother of children who are teenagers. And then we have Miss Zuri, who's an English teacher from SMK Ibrahim, Terengganu. And then we have Dr. Fatin Aisyah, and she's the lecturer of Faculty and Languages and Communication from University Terengganu. So before we begin our forum, I would like to give a brief explanation of our forum today, which is going to be about the effects of social media on the languages used by teenagers. So first of all, I'm going to define what is social media. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, social media is an application where users can create and share content or participate in social networking. Meanwhile, teenager, according to Cambridge English dictionaries, teenager is a person that's between 13 to 19 years old. So without further ado, let's begin with our first panelist of the day, Miss Aqilah. So Miss Aqilah, I would like to hear an opinion from you, since you're a teenager yourself, right? So what's your opinion on our topic today?
Assalamualaikum. So from my point of view, the social media, it doesn't really brings bad influence to our language, because in a world where everyone is rushing to achieve their goals, we need to find ways to save our time. So some people, they prefer to type faster, but some people even come up with new words. So with social media, new words can be added to our vocabulary. For example, the word selfie, which means a self-portrait type image or an image of ourselves, is much simpler to be used. So we can say that the word use is much simpler, and as a result, new words that come out from the social media can be used in our daily life. So next, we can also see that some words that undergoes changes. Some words the meaning of the words can be expanded and broadened, right? So the usage of words in daily context can shows that how creative teenagers can be. So for example, the word lead. Initially the word lead is a past tense for light up. But today we use the word lead to express something awesome, something amazing. For example, the party is lit. So it shows that the party is amazing. So I think that, that's all from me.
So as we heard from Miss Aqilah, it actually saves someone's time, like teenagers. That's why they like to use short form. So now moving on to the second panel of the day, Mrs. Natasha Khairina, and we hear from a mother who have children that are teenagers. So Miss Kina.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
As for me, I didn't really prefer my children using social media language because the conversation sound good when they speaking among siblings. For example, my elder daughter, when she speak to her younger brother, and she use words like LMAO or shut the FO like it's nothing, but it's actually didn't polite or didn't nice to hear, but they use it. So I don't really prefer they use those kind of social media words. Second point is they like to shorten the spelling and it's a little bit hard to understand when I'm chatting or texting with them because they shorten words like by the way become BTW or OTW all the time in every situation. So I have to ask them all the time what does that mean. So it's really give me a difficulty to understand their point. And the last,
Curious if you feel any gap with them.
yes, I do feel a gap because when I can understand what they saying, I can't. It looks like I'm less friendly with my own children.
So what do you think you could do to lessen the gap between you and your child?
Of course, I ask them. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is it good? Is it bad? I'm asking them. So my third point is why I don't really prefer my child using this social media language is because they tend to use the social media language even in daily conversations. Like, Mom, can you take my OOTD? Or YOLO, Mom, it takes me forever to understand what it stands for. So
YOLO, Mom.
my conclusion is I don't really prefer my children using social media language in daily conversation.
Alright, thank you, Mrs. Natasha Khairina. So we heard from Mother herself who have a teenage children. Okay. So now we're moving on to our third panelist of the day, Ms. Zuli. So what do you have to say since you interact and you handle those teenagers most of the time, your students, right? So what is your opinion on this?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator, for the question. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. I agree that social media language is actually good because it helps the students to be more engaging and active in classroom. Because you see, when they use social media language, they are more free to express their opinion and to participate more in class. For example, from my observation, when I use the social media language or slang with my students, they see me as more friendly and they are more open to, more approachable to answer the questions that I give in class. And I think this is because the social media open the opportunity for the users, for the teenagers, to express their opinion. And because unlike when you use the standard English language, when you use the social media language that they're already familiar with, they become more comfortable and not awkward. They are not scared to answer. They are not scared to voice out their opinion or answers. And I think it is very good. As a teacher, I see this is a very good thing. And that's why I feel like the social media language actually has the advantage to the teenagers. However, miscommunication might happen if they use the social media language in formal affairs. For example, when they go to the office and they speak to the clerk, to the officer there with social media language or the slang, that could cause miscommunication. Because. In conclusion, the teenagers must take what's good from the social media and apply it in life. I think, that's my opinion on this method.
Alright, thanks, Ms. Zuli. So we heard from her, and it's actually both a mixture of a good effect and a bad effect. So lastly, we hear from our last panelist, and we hear from her point of view of an expert, since she's actually doing a research based on this topic. So let's hear from Dr. Fatin.
Good evening and thank you, Ms. Aina. So I will talk about this issue in my point of view. So you have to know that language is always changing, but in my opinion, it takes years for them to evolve. And even though the language is always changing, it doesn't undergo that major shift. So, for example, way before social media, in the older communication, we have a lot of older acronyms and abbreviations, such as the word grade and mate. So it is spelled as GRA and MA. So this is because in the older mobile phone, we have the word count limitations. So that is why the people there, they have to be creative and innovative, like Miss Aqilah's point. So nowadays, in modern communication, they are also using these acronyms and abbreviations, but then they are gradually disappearing and also becoming extinct. And people are calling this tag as an antique tag. So this is because the youngsters, they are leaning more towards pictographic form of communication, such as emojis. So emojis, they are really convenient to use. They are really convenient to use because they can convey a lot of expression and also feelings. And people really like to use it, as you can see in the graph. So this is the latest graph from the 2018. So this is actually legit. So this is actually valid. And then, so I think, in my opinion, the English language is always evolving, and the teenagers really like to use this because it can express their feelings and also emotions.
Since you're saying that teenagers uses emojis to express their feelings, right? So emojis are online, but how about offline? Does this affect, because we know that you can't suddenly an emoji pop up in front of your face, right? So what about that?
So that is why I say, even though the language is changing, it doesn't affect the English language, because even though we have, apart from addition of the new words and also meanings, people are still using English language normally. So that's why I say it doesn't affect the English language much. So in short, I think that the language is always changing and it does affect the language of the teenagers, but then it didn't undergo that major shift. And nowadays, the teenagers are also using pictographic as a form of communication. So that is all from me. Thank you.
So we have come to an end to our forum. So let me do a quick recap. Firstly, Ms. Aqilah stated that it's actually a good effect of social media onto the teenagers' language, because they can get more creative and it can save their time by creating short forms and acronyms. You know what? For Mrs. Natasha Khairina, she thinks, as a mother of a teenager children, she thinks that this actually creates a gap between her and her children because she can't understand them quite well. So it's actually a bad effect, right? So and then Miss Zuli, she has stated both good and bad effect. The good effect is the student tends to be more active and participate in the class when she uses their language, and the bad effects are like the students cannot differentiate when to use, because like if they use for formal affairs, it will cause misunderstanding. So and finally, Miss Dr. Fatin stated that this social media language actually didn't affect that much because it had been there since before, even before social media are there. So I think, as a conclusion, it actually depends on the teenagers themselves, how they accept and how they apply this social media language in their life, and they have to know how and when to use it at the correct time. So that's why there's always bad and good side to everything, right? So yeah, it depends on the person itself. So I think that's all. So is there any question from the floor?
I do have a question.
Okay.
You can go to the front, right, please? You can go to the front.
So I have a question to Miss Aqilah. You talk about the new words, so I'm wondering, where does the idea of the new words come from?
So thank you, Miss Aisyah. So basically, some of the new words, they come out by, there are some new words that come out
by combining words. But there are also a new abbreviation that is used among the teenagers. Because they want to make it shorter. So they want to make it shorter and save time. So they tend to be more creative, and their critical thinking might be sharpened to fix to create the words. For example, the abbreviation GOAT, where it stands for greatest of all time. So instead of typing all the words one by one, why not you make an abbreviation out of it? So yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you, Miss Aqilah. We're setting another question, one final question. All right. Please come to the front.
Okay, the question is, my. Yeah. Okay, no.
Assalamualaikum to the panel. So I have a question.
Can I know your name?
My name is Zawawi from language of English with communication. Okay. So I have a question to Miss Zuli. Do you think the language of submet affects the young adults?
Thank you, Ms. Noha. Thank you for the question. So the question is if the young adults are affected by the social media language. To answer that, I think that I feel like everyone will be affected by the social media language. The question is if whether it is largely affected or like small effect. For example, like even young adults are affected by the social media language, but it's not as much as the teenagers, because the teenagers spend more time on social media, and also the teenagers are easily influenced by everything around them. And I feel like yes, the social media also the young adults are also affected by the social media language, but however it is very small comparing to the teenagers. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
I think that's all for our forum today. Thank you for lending your ears. Thank you.